If you can tell us about what is NYAWC.
Sure. So NYAWC is the New York Asian Women's Center. It is the largest organization in the northeast of the US. And we, as you mentioned earlier, we specialize in working with survivors of domestic violence, gharelu hingsa, sexual violence that goes from being harassed on the street, being called bad names, all the way to what we all read about, which is rape. And we also work with survivors of human trafficking. And I can explain a little bit later perhaps about that. Both sex trafficking, where people are forced to perform sexual favors, or labor trafficking, where people are forced to work with very little pay, no rights, things like that. And we also work with children. So we have a children's and a youth program. And we work with domestic violence, human trafficking, sexual violence, as I mentioned, and we also work with elder abuse. We've recently started working with older adults who unfortunately suffer and survive significant violence in their later years too.
Okay, and you're talking about all this in only New York?
Yeah, the vast majority of our clients. So our work is located within the 5 boroughs of New York City.
Okay.
We have offices in Manhattan by Chinatown, in Sunset Park in Brooklyn, and in Elmhurst in Queens. And in addition to that, we also sit at what is called the Family Justice Center, which is basically where the district attorney's office, very close to the criminal courts in Brooklyn, in Manhattan, and in Queens. So we have multiple offices in these 3 boroughs, and most of our clients, the work that we do is within the city. But when it comes to trafficking, for example, we do get calls from people who are outside of New York State, and then we see how we can support them. If they want to come into the city, then we can help them in a different way. Okay. So mostly it's within New York City, but we do get calls from people outside the state, and we do provide support and services. We do a lot of phone counseling, for example, with people.
Okay. And let's start with, because I'm sure that there are a lot of people who do not understand what is domestic violence. When we talk about domestic violence, and sometimes we think that it's okay, but if you can elaborate and explain us, what is domestic violence?
I suppose a simple definition of domestic violence is when somebody who you are close to, in English it's intimate partner violence. This could be a family member, it could be your husband, it could be your parent, it could be your in-law, it could be your child, it could be an uncle. So someone that you are close to from your family or from your extended family, sometimes also from the community, if they treat you badly and they humiliate you, तुम्हें छोटा करते हैं, कभी कभार मार पीट होती है, कभी कभार गालियाँ दी जाती हैं. So, whether it is verbal, in what you say, where you humiliate somebody, make them feel horrible, or it's what you do. You don't give them food properly, or you make them work more than they really should. You don't let them go out because they're too young, or they don't know anything, or they don't have documentation, no papers, or you just want to control them. You make them, unfortunately, there is also sexual violence that happens within a married relationship. So sometimes it's sexual abuse within, an intimate partner relationship. So sometimes it's financial abuse. You go to work,
Watch the remaining show on ITV Gold. Subscribe to ITV Gold on Time Warner Cable Channel 1539. ITV Gold is America's first full-time television channel that caters to the South Asian community. Your favorite dramas with English subtitles. Watch movies, back-to-back songs, award-winning local news coverage, and much, much more. Subscribe to ITV Gold on Time Warner Cable Channel 1539, part of the 8-channel combo pack for $39.95. And our East Coast viewers can also subscribe to ITV on RCN Channel 476 and Cablevision on Channel 1168.